Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. The stock market is now down 21%.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
So I'm not too sure if you guys have taken time to think about all this unfortunate news that's been happening, not just within the United States, but this global pandemic and the overall reaction that our global economies have had to this. Again, I can't speak from experience when it comes down to the 2008 real estate market crash or the 2008 bubble, but when it comes down to how the market reacted, there's no question that, a big focus for a lot of investors, especially even on my YouTube channel, although we really focus on day trading, a lot of people love investing in real estate. And I feel like as you make more money, that just becomes an alternative for almost someone's second source of income or passive income and rental income, right? So when it comes down to that, I've tried to do my part in informing myself a little bit more about how the market works and then also how the real estate market reacts. And one of the things I wanted to share with you guys today is dating back to the 2008 market crash, the overall stock market saw an instant drop in prices. In 2008, it was very unfortunate and there was an instant reaction. But one of the things that I took time to learn a little bit more about is how did the real estate market react? And if you guys go back to 2008 and look at when the real estate market actually bottomed out, it was around 2011 and 2012 when it actually hit its bottom. So although we refer to the 2008 market crash to be the 2008 market crash, for real estate, it was around 2011 and 2012. So in a sense, pretty much 3 to 4 years later, that the real estate market ended up bottoming out. And one of the things that I took from that, again, as someone that is trying to simply learn more about real estate, is one of the first things that I want you guys to know. If you guys are not aware of who it is that I am, my name is Ricky. I run the largest YouTube channel and the largest Facebook group for those who day trade in the stock market. My main focus is 100% day trading in the stock market. But since, now I'm 25, I started investing in real estate at age 20 is when I bought my first house here in Arizona. I'm originally from California. The cost of living is much less here in Arizona, so I wanted to take advantage of it. And in the past 5 years, I've essentially been able to invest in a total of 16 properties. I wouldn't view myself as a real estate expert by any means. I'm simply someone that is really intrigued by the real estate market and is always wanting to learn more. So I still feel like I'm a student of this overall market, and I'm surrounding myself with people that are the best of the best here in Arizona. I work with 2 of the top real estate agents here in Arizona, and I'm really excited to see how our real estate market ends up reacting. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you is what I'm doing to prepare for this. I hope that throughout this video, you can cherry pick a series of the ideas that I share within this video, and feel free to let me know also in the comment section if you agree or disagree or what you're doing to prepare as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So as we talked about this coronavirus and this outbreak, there is no question that we've seen unemployment skyrocket. And if I'm not mistaken, Feds have only brought down interest rates from 0 to 0.25 twice in history, once in the 2008 financial market crash, and the other time was this month in March 2020. So there's a series of signs that, a lot of people are becoming very uncertain. They're trying to prepare for a market crash, but they're maybe unaware of what it is that, you should or should not do. One of the first things that we have to understand is no one knows if we're actually going to go into a market crash or market recession. One of the biggest mistakes, in my opinion, that I've made myself and that I hear a lot of people talk about is that because market prices are in no question very overextended, it's definitely a seller's market. Market prices, in my opinion, are inflated, right? And in my experience, I just have found the excuse of, well, markets are overpriced, so I'm just gonna wait until the market reaches its bottom. But let's be completely honest, the majority of people that are saying that are probably still not gonna take action when the market is selling off, because at the end of the day, no one knows exactly where the bottom is. So what I've learned throughout the years, instead of, just throwing my money at anything just because I have the ability to invest in what it is that I can, during these uncertain times, it just means that I have to be a little bit more selective. I don't want to be someone that says, well, I'm not going to invest in real estate as of right now moving forward because the market is so uncertain. At the end of the day, as a real estate investor, my job is still to take advantage of opportunities when I see them present themselves. So at the end of the day, if I'm someone that's proactively looking for opportunities, if I'm, finding deals, I feel like it's more of an injustice if I don't take advantage of that opportunity just because of current market condition. At the end of the day, overall markets do begin to recover, and the longevity of real estate is, again, continuous growth. So with that being said, as a proactive real estate investor and as of someone that is learning more about real estate, I have found that I have missed out on more opportunities, even dating back to when I purchased my first house. There was another house that got listed for sale, and I thought in 2015 that the market was so overbought that it was not a good idea for me to invest at the time, that I should have waited for a pullback. And now 5 years later, that house is worth nearly twice as much as what I could have bought it for. So at the end of the day, I have found it to be more effective long-term to, yes, during uncertain times, I might want to be a little bit more selective, making sure that I only take advantage of deals that are actually worth investing in, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes down to completely just setting all real estate investments aside and being someone that says, I'm going to wait for the bottom, I think is very naive and very closed-minded. No one knows where the bottom is, and let's be completely honest, for those that, say, I'm going to wait for the bottom, at the end of the day, those are probably people that are not actually taking action when it comes down to a real estate opportunity or real estate investment opportunity is presented to them. So moving on to the next step, and I think that, again, a majority of people can, in a sense, relate to this as well, is one of the things that I'm doing is, although I am trying to be more selective in what it is that I choose to invest in right now due to this uncertain time, there is no question that you want to be more careful overall with your finances, right? So when it comes down to preparing for a real estate market crash, I just feel like it is in our overall best interest during this uncertain time to make sure that we set ourselves up for success. So if you're someone that maybe doesn't have the cash, obviously, to buy these properties outright, if the market does end up selling off, one of the things that I want to share with you is ask yourself a simple question. If the market does end up crashing, just like how we saw in correlation to the 2008 market crash, and then the real estate market reached its bottom 3 to 4 years later, let's say the market crashes this year, hypothetically, right? And we see a bottom in the real estate market 3 to 4 years from now. What are you doing today that your future self will thank you for? Very simple things, right? You can ensure that when it comes down to qualifying for a loan, if you can't save enough money, there's nothing wrong with that, but it is then preparing and understanding what it is that you need to do to make sure that you can then qualify for these properties that you want to choose to take advantage of. So there's nothing wrong with saving money. There's nothing wrong with, I've always been a huge believer in having a stable job or a stable income in which that you can then use to qualify for these properties, right? If you're someone right now in a position that cannot get pre-qualified for a property, that cannot, put up a certain amount of down payment, 5%, 10%, 20%, then that means that during this off time, right, as we're then preparing for a market crash, if you're so certain that the market's going to, pull back or crash, I think one of the best things that we can then do is simply prepare for it. And all that means is to take time, understand what it is that you need to do to qualify for a property, and then simply work towards it. We've shared this so many times before, and it's the very simple things in life that people overcomplicate. You want to get in contact with maybe a real estate investor or a real estate agent. Maybe you can even take this off time to become a real estate agent yourself. There is nothing wrong with utilizing this time to inform yourself and prepare for when opportunity does present itself. So when the market, and if the market does end up bottoming out 3 to 4 years from now, then one of the beautiful things that you at least did is you set yourself up for success. You now know that you qualify, right? Based off of your 2-year work history, your credit score, you have enough money to put down for a down payment because you were informed on what it is that you needed to do to qualify for 1 or 2 properties. So once you buy those properties and you invest in them, you can use them as whatever it is that you plan to do, right? At the end of the day, I really hope that the overall market does end up recovering and that we don't have to go through a recession. But I think, being a hopeful person is something that really doesn't instill a lot of certainty with overall success. So one of the things that I just simply wanted to do is I wanted to, share my thoughts and share what it is that I'm doing in effort to prepare for, if there were to be an overall real estate market crash. I'm just taking based off of my experience of what I can, since I wasn't old enough to invest in 2008 in the real estate market, to understand what is going on, compare 2008 conditions and to compare 2020 conditions and see the correlations and understand the correlations and how the market reacted, how the real estate market reacted, and the same thing with what is going on right now. The stock market is aggressively selling off, but the real estate market really has not been affected too much. And I think that should only be a reminder on how we can then prepare ourselves up for success. And again, it's with the very simple ideas of just taking time to inform ourselves of what it is that we need to do, that when these opportunities do present themselves, that we're actually able to take advantage of it. So let me know in the comments section what you guys think about the thoughts and the ideas that I shared within this video. I really hope that, again, just the series of steps that we talked about, if you are not preparing for an overall market crash, how regardless, if the market doesn't end up crashing, but you've taken all this time and all this precaution to prepare yourself, you've at least informed yourself about what it is that you need to do to be successful in this market. And at the end of the day, there's always going to be pullbacks, there's always going to be recessions. All we can do during such uncertain times is taking that time and utilizing maybe that extra time that it is that we have to inform ourselves and then how to set ourselves up for success. So I really hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. Don't forget to join our free investing team. That's going to be that first link down below. We are going to be hosting a free live session today. It's going to be our Sunday stock talk. I would love for you guys to tune on in. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications so you guys get alerted when I go live. Like always, team, let's make sure that we end the year on green now. Take it easy, team.